In the living room, we're gonna talk about just about everything. In the living room, hiding from it is no longer a choice. In the living room, we're gonna talk about just about everything.
Hey guys, we're back again. This is In the Living Room, conversations for the grown and professional. This is your boy, Durante Smith. To my right, I have two beautiful co-hosts beside me. Please introduce yourselves, ladies.
Hi, my name is Nicole Langlois. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. I've lived in Atlanta for over 20 years and I am single with no kids.
Hi, I'm Jill Collins. I've been in Georgia for more than 22 years, so I'm a Georgia peach. I am single, mid-30s, with 2 children.
All right. That being said, we welcome you guys today to the living room. And just to give you guys a little of what the living room is about, it's sort of in your face, straightforward sort of form that really talks about today's relationships, topics that are important to working professionals, people that really want to advance beyond being single and whatnot. Myself being a married guy, I try to give you ladies a different kind of perspective, one that's not sort of, you know, the same old blase you might hear from a guy off the street. That being said, ladies, today's topic is going to be about the switch up. All right, everybody knows what the switch up is. Basically, guys, we feel that after being in a relationship for so long, that the women start to change. I've heard it before I got married. I do think there's a certain amount of reality to it. And then the ladies side of it, whatever you guys feel is the switch up for you. That being said, let's start with, I'm going to ask just a very straightforward question. Nicole.
I always have to go first.
Nicole, what do you feel is truth or reality behind women getting into a relationship and setting a certain set of expectations from that guy up front, and then things change? Meaning that they go into it. This is what my guys are talking about. You guys come in and you're cooking, right? You're giving us the loving. You know what I mean? You guys are, you know, everything's great, right? And 6 months in, things start changing. So what is it? Why is that? Why does that happen for you all?
Sometimes women get comfortable. Sometimes men get comfortable. So I guess the best advice is to try to make sure that you appreciate that person that you're with and you don't fall into a stereotypical pattern. That you always want to make sure that perhaps you do a temperature check to make sure that, you know, you're happy, your mate's happy, and that you guys keep spice in the relationship. I think that's a very important element as well.
Okay, you say people get comfortable, right? I say that people come into relationships with under false pretense. I'm gonna say it like this, Jill. You meet a guy, okay, at first he's whining you, he's dining you, he's taking you out to the places that you want to go, right?
Right.
6 months in, this dude, all of a sudden things start drifting off. He used to give you flowers once a week, now you're not getting flowers at all, right? He used to take you out to a restaurant you want to go out to. Now, guess what? You giving up the booty, and he's not taking you out anymore, right? I know those sorts of things frustrate ladies. I know there are a lot of women out there that are dealing with this. I'm asking you directly: have you experienced this, and B, what is your take on this subject? I
personally have not experienced the reciprocal of a man ceasing or stopping some habit that he started. I do think it's human nature, just like the peacock, you know, the male peacock when he flaunts his feathers. In the beginning, you want to look your best. You want to look your nicest. You put on your best clothes. You can't go out looking, you know, rough. So I think men and women do it to attract the opposite sex. Now, how long you have to sustain that until you get what you want is probably the variable.
So do you find that, have you been in a position where you dating a guy and you kept your makeup on? throughout the course of the night because you didn't want him to wake up and see you raw without your makeup? Has there ever been a scenario? Has that ever been the case?
I don't wear makeup a whole lot, so that's not the best for me. The best
Keep your
example
hair
for me.
done, whatever it is. You know, do you feel you have to have a certain level of comfort with how you look or your appearance or something like that in order to be around that guy? Because what I'm saying is, let's say, for example, you know, I personally can appreciate a woman that doesn't wear makeup, that, you know, maintains a certain level of attractiveness or whatever to her without the makeup, right? But at the same time, I want them to be candid and honest enough with themselves to say, you know, you guys can go to the gym, you can go and work out, and I can see you. I don't have to see you like, you know, every single time you're made up. But there's a lot of women out there that don't feel that because they feel these guys are putting that pressure on them. But in reality, I think you guys are putting it on yourselves.
I can't speak for other women. For myself, a better example for me would be my glasses versus my contacts. I wear my contacts when I'm going out or for special occasions. So if it's a new dating experience, I might wear my contacts for the first several dates. But after a while, I'm going to start putting my glasses on because you need to know the real person. You know, and we women, as we start thinking about a future or more long-term experience, we want to make sure that you know what you're signing up for. So not that it's a bait and switch, but more so like, let me gradually get you used to what it really is like being in my world.
Nicole, so you date a guy, right? This guy, up front, this guy has a nice ride. You know, every time you go out, you know, he pays. You know, it's whatever you think to be is traditional. You're like, oh wow, this guy's got it going on. This dude's all right. You know what I mean? Lays the credit card down every time the bill comes around, right? 6 months in, you find out that dude's credit is jacked up, right? That he's overextended on every damn thing he does. Okay, you find out his car is not even his car. You know, he's leasing his car from his brother. I mean, I don't know, but I'm painting a situation that like it's a facade is my point.
But we live in the land of facades. That's how things are on the dating scene right now. People are trying to impress other people, so you generally don't make it to the second round with their representative. You know, you never get past the representative.
Wow. So you're saying the person that they put before you is a representation of who they are. It's not really who they are.
No, it's not who they are. It's their representative.
Wow. So I'm saying
it's their concept and their interpretation of what they think you want.
So I was saying from a married guy's perspective, I see more often than not married folk that the general consensus that we guys hear is once we get married, everything changes.
In the living room.
Once we get married, everything changes with the woman's expectations or whatever. Once we get married, the women stop giving it up. And I'm going to tell you flat out the truth. I think there is a certain amount of truth to every stereotype, to every rumor or whatever. I think there's a certain amount of truth to that. I understand you ladies are traditional.
We're conservative.
Conservative, I can appreciate that. But you're not going to sit there and tell me you're going to date a guy 2 years and not have sexual relations.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay? Yeah. Jill, would you agree on that? Or
I'd agree. I'd agree.
Okay.
But I don't know where you're going.
Okay, so...
Jill's concerned.
So, a year into your relationship, and I'm not saying it takes a year for you to give it up, right? I didn't say that. What I'm saying is a year into your relationship, everything seems to be gelling, right? You find that it's not what it was. It lacks the luster, it lacks the appeal, it lacks the passion, the fuel, right? That we all expect of that, what they call quote unquote honeymoon season. What causes that change? What causes you guys to lose the interest? I mean, tell the guys. We want to know. I want to know. What is it? Nicole?
I think society puts a lot of pressure on young women to get married. And young women put a lot of pressure on themselves with this crazy fairy tale of what the ceremony is going to be like. And there's not enough emphasis put on what the marriage and the relationship is going to be like. Yeah. So the courtship dies and it becomes really stagnant and boring all of a sudden. Because, you know, the woman was looking forward to this day and then she drops off the cliff the next day without having these skills that it's going to take to keep the relationship alive, you know, over the course of
what skills
many
are we
years.
talking about?
From communication, from, you know, it's everything. It's the household skills, it's communication, it's how to deal with adversity when you're not getting along. It's everything that comes up after the ceremony.
Okay.
And I'm kind of lost on the change part, because I find that, you know, in relationships now, people can't even come together. You know, they can't even come to that basic point where they want to agree to see each other exclusively. You know, people are still playing those games. You know, I'll take you out to dinner, we'll go out and have a good time, but they're still trying to see your girlfriend around the corner, or they're still trying to date your cousin. You know, we can't even get to that exclusive monogamous point. So the change is a moot point, because we're not even getting to the relationship portion with two people.
As guys, this is what I see from guys, right? Guys, you know, you hear this whole thing about, you know, we have a stable of women. I know y'all know this. Y'all heard this. But let me tell you something. Women, y'all do the same thing. I know a ton of female friends that you guys have a friend for every single thing that you want to do. You got your bowling partner. You got your buddy that, you know, you can go and kick it with at the movies. You got the dude that you go out to the restaurants with. You know what I mean? You guys do the same thing. You know, so I can appreciate what you're saying, but I think we all have to take ownership of that. I think we as males have to take ownership in our part in that. I think you as women have to take your ownership in your part of that, and we have to come together and say, you know what? Maybe it's time we advance beyond the silly games that we're doing.
So how do you suggest we do that, Durante?
In the living room.
Being that, again, I'm married, been married for 4 years. We dated for 3.5 years before we got married, okay? The very first thing I tell women is stop being so damn impatient. You know, I'm being blunt. I mean, because you guys, you know, you have these certain set of expectations. I had a girl to tell me one time, she's out there, she knows who she is. She told me first date that she said if she's not married within 6 months, then, you know, guess what? It's not going to work.
And how long did that last?
It lasted one date, because at the end of the day, I wasn't in a position where I'm going to let someone dictate where a relationship was going before it ever evolved. Because we just don't look at things the same way. Men don't go into relationships with a long-term perspective. That's not how we look at it. You know, you guys go into it from day one dating to think, oh, this guy could be the right one for me. You know, you made a point. How long is too long to be in a relationship before you decide to let that person go?
Absolutely, when you're just killing time and you're just in a long-term dating scenario.
You can't force anybody to do anything.
No, you can't force a person, but an ultimatum is good in the sense of you need to know if you're killing time or not. Right. You know, if you're going to be in an endless situation, if a woman wants to be married and the man doesn't, it's time to move forward.
You referenced this earlier, and I really come from the point of view of, if it's not working for me, I'll tell you it's not working. I don't want to manipulate the situation by telling you, say, the way you tie your shoes doesn't work for me, because I don't want you to change who you are to try to please me. If you as an individual and me as an individual, we can't work collectively together, then it's just not going to work. I don't want to manipulate you with an ultimatum or with trying to change you to be something that I want you to be, because it's not going to last long term. So I want the authentic Jill, and I want the authentic Guy, you know, and if it works, wonderful. If it doesn't, let's go our separate ways. But I know a lot of people who do ultimatums. Okay,
you have to understand, 6 months, a year and a half in, you really don't know who that person is. That's the reason why I say I'm not a fan of, an advocate of rushing into a marriage, because, you know, I think at 2 years in, my wife and I were still learning who we were.
Sure.
You know,
and it's a different time frame for everyone.
But I'll tell you something else. A point you guys made earlier. I'm not certain about you, but I know you made the point, which was you don't believe in shacking up, right? I'm sorry, I wouldn't marry someone before I shacked up.
How long did you shack up before you got married?
We were probably outside of the norm. We actually bought a house together before we got married.
How long were you shacking up before you got married?
3 years.
You shacked up for 3 American whole years.
3 years before we got married.
Okay.
We bought a house together, you know, in spite of probably, you know, what anyone that would advise her to do. We bought a house together. My point being was we can use the equity to help pay for the marriage versus being strapped with a bunch of debt, you know. So, and again, I'm probably different than most, but that's my thing.
in the living room.
I wouldn't advise that to anyone and everyone. But what I am saying is that, you know,
In today's society, people are more modern,
Yeah.
so they don't have any problem living together. They would prefer that. So
a lot
you know, yeah, it's just
it's not, but it's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's a few, you know, selective people like myself that would prefer not to go that route. But you know, it's
What
not
about
for
you, Jill?
everyone.
The kids add a different dynamic to it. You know, I mean, I can't just invite anybody
Yeah.
into my house to live. In fact, you know, like I said before, I've never lived with a man as a grown adult.
She has a no shack up policy.
Is that it? No shack-up policy?
I would have to be dating somebody quite a while and know that he is the one that's going to be in my life for a while before I would let him spend the night at my house with my kids.
Before you let him spend the night at your house with your
Yes,
kids?
with
the
her
kids.
children.
Forget
yes,
moving
with
in.
her
Forget
kids.
moving in.
No, I'm saying move in.
Forget moving in. I'm talking
moving
about.
is not an option.
I'm not.
No,
not
she's
even
saying he
spend
can't
the
even
night.
spend the night.
But I'm asking, when do you get to the point of when?
Oh
when
gosh, who knows? Once the relationship is developed and I'm comfortable enough, the kids are comfortable enough.
You can't put a time limit
Yeah,
on
there's no
comfort.
time.
Yeah.
So Nicole, all right, so
Oh, boy.
you keep yourself together, you get your hair done, whatever. But everybody has a bad day,
Oh, I have a lot of bad days.
right? Everybody has a bad day.
Oh, yeah.
There's days you don't have your makeup on.
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? There's days that, you know, your
Days the hair's not
your hair's
did.
not done. I mean,
Yeah.
you went 2-3 weeks without getting your hair done, right?
Hot
Jill,
mess.
No.
you know, there's days you ain't got your hair down all nice and straight and all that. You know, you now rocking the lip gloss.
Right.
You know, y'all guys are seeing them now. You know, they look all nice and
Don't
and
tell our
purty,
secrets.
right? They're all
Exactly.
nice and purty. But I'm just saying, there's times you're not like that. I know because I'm married. My wife, she scared me
Hey,
a couple times.
don't
okay?
tell the business.
She
Don't
scared
tell
me
the
a couple
business.
times. She
Do not
came out
tell
with
the
that stuff on her face
Loose lips
at
sink
2 o'clock in the
ships.
morning, and I'm like, you know. Who is this lamb beside
TMI,
me?
Durante,
You know,
TMI.
who is this woman that's got this do-rag on her head in the middle of the night?
I know.
You know what I mean? This little thing. I'm like, okay, who is this person?
So
right?
where are you going with this?
So when do you expose that person to your
Immediately.
That's it.
I like to hit him with a
Oh, no,
gangster style, like a
I
crip,
don't
like
believe
drive.
that.
That's
I
the
don't believe
God's
that.
honest truth.
I don't
You got to
believe
man
that.
up.
I don't
You
believe
have
that.
to be
I don't
able
believe
to
that.
deal
You
with the
telling
real.
me? So
I
you're
think
telling
you have
me.
to be able to deal with the
You
real, but
have
actually
to
a
be able
gradual.
to-
I agree. No,
it's
I
a
agree.
gradual.
But I'm telling
For me,
you,
it's a
so
gradual.
you're telling me this.
But I'ma hit him like a crip.
The second night that y'all done hooked up, y'all had a good time,
Yeah.
whatever. Dude stay over. He didn't hit because I know you're a good Christian woman, so he didn't hit, right? But the second night he stays over, y'all done did the do.
Well, here's the thing.
Or whatever.
For him to have stayed over, and I mean over, there has to be a connection.
Okay, you
So
got
I have to
connection.
be
I got you.
I
I'm
have to
with
be
you.
comfortable with that
with
person, and
you.
I have to feel like there is a relationship.
Okay, I got you.
You know, I didn't just
Not
meet him
surface level.
like
not
Atlanta.
surface,
I didn't
right.
just meet him at Houston's that afternoon. I
Right,
feel
that's right,
like
that's
you
right.
know it's a bit of a relationship going on.
So dude stay over.
So I'm gonna hit him like a crip. You know, just come
Second-
out, no makeup, just hair standing straight up.
you know-
he needs to see what's going on.
My
Kitchen
head-
and all. I'm
Just-
gonna send him straight to the kitchen.
Just to see if he's gonna be willing to stick around. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I
To
already
see-
know he's gonna be willing
see-
to stick around.
Damn that, hell no.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I'm telling you right now.
I'm not on the superficial Atlanta tip.
But it ain't about being superficial.
But
I'm
it
just
is, but
I'm
it
telling
is.
you, ladies, don't do all that up. Please.
So,
don't do
listen,
that.
my hair-
You will find yourself alone. Don't do that.
In that
I
same
promise you.
scenario,
Yes.
so I have to take a shower, right? So I'm going to put on a shower cap if my hair is straight. Otherwise, it's going to turn curly right away.
Right.
So in a new relationship, I might take the shower cap before I, come out of the bathroom. But maybe months down the road, I might walk around in the shower cap for a little bit longer than initially. So kind of gradually.
Man, Jill,
Either
but
it-
shower cap's the worst that you got going. Come on now. Come on.
But you're
That- a
putting
shower
pressure
cap-
on women in America right now, saying, "Don't give it to me up front.
Don't
Wait,
be real.
You're,
I'm
you're
I'm
saying
not
that.
saying
You're
that. That's
honestly
not what
saying
I'm
that. Yes,
no,
you are.
I'm saying as a dude.
Either you can handle it or you cannot.
As a dude.
Either you're interested or you're not.
As a dude, yes, I respect all that. I'm telling you, as a dude, there's a fine, delicate balance. Okay, the balance is.
So why
that-
do we have to walk on a tightrope?
Or it's shaving the legs, maybe,
Oh my God, shaving legs is major, dude. Man, I'm telling you, if you rock,
I can't hit you. I can't hit you with a braid under my arm.
No, if
you
you're doing
we
that,
used to
out the
shave every
gates,
day, and then now it's
that's
every
right.
3
That's right.
days, and
That's right. That's exactly right. And that goes to the point. When you guys get to that level of comfort, okay, that's what we call the change up. Because then for us, that becomes problematic. Because that's not what we used to. Let me tell you one other thing before we have to go. Let me say one last thing. All right. If you and ladies, oh Lord,
he is
He's
passionate.
having a moment.
I'm about to
He's
tell you.
having a moment.
Oh, all right. If you are giving it up to your man 2-3 times a week, you better not stop. You have better not stop.
We
you know
agree.
why?
We agree
because,
with that.
Because
we agree.
know, damn that. No, because we
agree.
Because we grow to expect it. Okay? And guess what happens? A year into it, 2 years into it, if y'all just start getting tired or whatever the case might be, because this is what happens. You know, y'all get tired of it, right? You get tired. Just be blunt. Y'all get tired of it. And guess what? The dude still has that expectation. So then you have fed into his ego and all this other stuff. And then guess what? Then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, that's what our expectation is. There are problems.
Well, Durante, you're talking to two women who totally agree with you.
agree.
But we want to flip
She
the
didn't say
script.
that.
She totally agrees. We want to flip the script. What if the brother can't handle his service contract? What are we supposed to do?
Now that's a different conversation. Because I'm saying that's not what we're talking about here.
Oh, no, we're not talking about it. Okay, fine.
That's no, but I'm just saying that's not. See, the difference is, all right. So
You said don't let the ladies, ladies don't neglect your responsibilities. We're saying what happens if a brother can't handle his responsibilities.
all right. So
That never happens, America. It never happens.
So let me say it like this, guys. You heard what they said. You gotta do your due too. You gotta put it down, right? Is what you're saying, basically.
Absolutely.
We have to continue to handle business, right?
There's servicing that needs to be done to maintain that well-oiled machine.
I got you. Servicing is in
Creative.
pulling out the
Oh,
wallet.
she said creative.
Creative.
Wow, that's luxury finance.
Creative.
Don't let it become stale.
What are we saying? You saying we talking about the
Intimacy,
sex?
intimacy, the
Intimacy.
sex. Don't let it become stale. Don't let it become repetitive.
I word,
Predictable.
The magic eye.
Predictable.
Yeah, it's predictable and stale.
Spice it up.
Interesting.
In the living room.
I appreciate what you ladies have said. I love what you said because you got great feedback. Now, ladies, let me give you a grown man's perspective, which is, I think that in today's society, it is unfortunate that more often than not, we're putting up fronts and we're trying to, impress each other with all this stuff that's just not important. If we can get beyond that and really look at the person for whomever we are, I think you'll find you'll have much more success in finding what you would consider true love versus what you think love is. I would say, a great place to start is some introspection. Being comfortable in your own skin. That to me is, I think, probably the best starting point, and anything I can tell you, even being a married man. That all being said, I'd like for you to feel free to hit me up. Give me your feedback. If you thought I was wrong, if you thought I was crazy, if I said something that offended you, please let me know. Also, I appreciate the love too. So you can tell me, hey, I love what you had to say. Guys, same thing. Hit me up at dlsmith@solarisfilmworks.net. Ladies.
Hi, I would love your love via email. You can send me something at nicole100@gmail.com.
And I take exception to Durante's opinion. I think it is acceptable for, during the courtship, for things to gradually become normal and not contrary to the very beginning dating and excitement. Email me, Jill_Collins@bellsouth.net.
Thank you guys for tuning in to In the Living Room, conversations for the grown and professional. Until next time, we'll see you. Durante, out.
In the living room, hiding from it is no longer a choice. In the living room, we're gonna talk about just about everything.